All right, good morning. Sunday, September the 22nd. So Samantha and the kids are sleeping. Had a sick kid early this morning, so we didn't go to church because of that. So we're hoping it's nothing serious, but we wanted to err on the side of caution just in case it was something contagious. So we said, all right, we'll stay away. But we let Samantha and the kids go back to sleep and get some rest. It's roughly about 10 o'clock in the morning right now. So what you just witnessed was my ripping apart the grow room yet again. So it's been a bit since I've done a video. There hasn't been a lot going on. I just kind of got out of the mood of doing anything as far as videos or anything goes. Been trying to do the farmers market as much as we can. Missed a few days. We actually missed yesterday as well, but ended up it was not a very nice day, so I don't know how the crowd was out there. But anyways, let's take a look and see what I've got going on down here in the grow room and kind of what I've got up my sleeve. So I got the entranceway, and I'm going to work around this way. So Microgreens grow out rack, no change there. I've moved a few things onto the bottom shelf. Biggest change in that corner now is I've put the pressure watering bucket for the microgreens over there. It was formerly behind me in the corner, but that's got to be reserved now for something else. So anyways, really no change there. I've got to find a spot for the water jugs when they're full, where to put them, because they're not going over here anymore. I don't know. Got to find a spot. Kind of the same thing with the garbage can. Ladder I stuck back in there. That's just nice for when the kids come down to help. I can reach everything. Samantha can pretty much reach everything, but the kids are down. They like to have the ladder to help. Hydroponics rack, all four of those totes down there are actually dirty. I need to clean them up. We are completely shutting down the system during the revamp. I've got enough planted here to finish out the farmers markets, which for us is only 3 more. So then it'll be the end of the season. Our last farmers market will be October the 12th. So I've got 6 plants for this coming week, which is some red lettuce, and there's some Paris Island back there. And then I've got green lettuce and kale for the following week. And then our last week out there, I've actually got that whole rack. But then this will all be shut down and cleaned up. I don't have any major plans to change anything over here currently, other than the timing of when they come out of the seed starter and go into that rack. So that's that. As you watched, I moved the workbench over here. The buckets on the bottom, so that tote right now is parts. I gotta figure out where to put that, but otherwise that little tote is where I soak Rockwell cubes in. I think you guys have seen that before. That is the soil for the microgreens, and that bucket is dirty net cups after they come out of the hydroponics rack. So I just kind of toss them in there, and then once I get a bunch of them, I clean them up. Pretty much microgreen seeds stayed the same. On top, I think I showed you guys, Samantha picked me up this awesome LED light. It fits perfectly under here, so that's great. I did adjust this down a little bit from where it was, because up here on the little window, I do put a fan up here sometimes to help bring in some of that cool air when it's warm in here and cooler outside. So I didn't want to drop this shelf down a little bit to get that, but otherwise what's up here is nutrients. These are spice containers that I've washed out. I think I've showed you guys this, that I will use to weigh out my microgreen seed. Hydroponic seed, toothpicks for planting. This is my pH meter. I really don't use it much, just because I've gotten our water here is pretty consistent, so I don't use it much. A couple of scales, pens, that sort of thing. I do want to put a pen cup, I think, up here instead of having that up there. But anyways, microgreen germination rack, but this is also turning into partially hydroponic seed starter. So I think I'd showed you guys these. I really haven't done anything else with them. I did get a fitting that I'm gonna try. I've got some scrap pieces of this vinyl gutter, so I'm gonna try it in that. But I think I've got a drain fitting that'll work for these. I still got to drill all the holes in the top. Part of that is I need to know where to put the drain, where to put the inlet, and then I can, then I can space out all my net cups. Eventual plan, hopefully, is to have 4 of these, because if I can have 4 of these and 12 cups, whoa, sorry, went blurry, 4 of these with 12 cups in each, then, and leave the plants in here for 4 weeks with nutrients. I think I've talked about this on a previous video. I apologize if I did and it's repeat, but then the goal would be to leave them in the seed starters a little longer. From there, go over to the finishing rack, and we've got 3 shelves to finish out 3 weeks basically in each. So they'd only be over there for 3 weeks. The lights would never be as close, they'd always be higher up. And then finish them out in there and to full size. So I want to get 2 of these going. Probably what I'll do, just to experiment through the winter, is do 2 weeks, do 6 and 6 in here, 6 plants a week for 2 weeks each, you know, and then kind of rotate, because then that way I can try this without having to buy a whole nother set and make a whole nother set. And also I don't need that many plants. If it's just us eating them through the wintertime, I don't need to have that much. So microgreens, I've got a couple of trays of peas and a tray of radish. They're going, and I got storage down the bottom. All right, big empty wall. There was a light up here on the top. Sorry, it doesn't like my camera doesn't like the white wall. So there was a 4-foot light up here on the top that I was using over top of the workbench previously, before Samantha got me that LED light. That was actually from a different work area here in the basement. I was just borrowing it, so I took that out and returned it, so that's no longer up here. So creates a nice blank wall. I stopped at our local food packing plant. They do, last I heard at least, they did a lot of prepared meals for like airlines and stuff at the packing plant, at the food processing plant, whatever. So, but anyways, they get food grade buckets and barrels, and when they're done with them, they put them out for free. I think I've talked about that before. That's where I got those buckets there that I'm using for the soil and for the dirty net cups. So on my way to work yesterday, I went by and they had stacks and stacks of buckets, like 4 different sizes. So I filled the whole back of my car with buckets, round 5-gallon buckets, square bucket, like 3 different sizes of square buckets. So they work great for out in the garden and harvesting and bringing in produce and whatnot. But here's what I'm thinking. So I've got that tote that I was using for the water reservoir for the former hydroponic seed starter. I'm thinking I'm going to set that between this rack and out, basically right where those light boxes are. I'm going to put hydroponics fertilizer in it, nutrients. I'm going to have 2 pumps in it. One pump will pump up to the hydroponic seed starter with a drain back. Second pump will pump this way with a drain back. So what am I going to do here? I'm still looking at doing a Dutch bucket herb garden. So this is my bucket. Here this had pure roasted garlic puree. So this is one of the buckets. This is I think it's like 10 by 10. It's like a 4.5 gallon bucket or something like that. So my local big box hardware store, I can get lids for these that fit and snap right on, because these buckets don't come with lids from the food plant. Get a lid for it. Now, one of 2 things. They make a I can either get a lid and then cut a hole. Focus. I can either get a lid, I think they're like 99 cents a piece, cut a hole, and set a big net pot in there. That would be one option. The other option is I think you can get a full insert that you don't need a lid. It just, hi Violet. You don't need a lid, it just sets in. But I don't know how much clearance room on the sides those have. So that would be another option. But if I get, I figured it out, I think I can get a 6-inch net pot in here pretty easily. So I'll have to make a stand, but I can line up, I'll use a 4-foot light, 48-inch light. These buckets are 10 inches. If I set them right next to each other with like a 6-inch net pot in them, I'm thinking I should be able to get 5 of them. 4 of them's 40 inches, 5 of them's 50 inches. The light hanging above it should spread out at an angle enough to be able to cover that extra 2 inches. So, and then I'm thinking I want to do, I don't know if I'm just going to do one section. Maybe I'll start with one. Eventually maybe I'll add a second line. I'll have to have a shelf where it's up high enough so that I can drain. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking there. In that section, shelf, Dutch buckets, drain back into that same reservoir. So I don't know, it's coming along, it's changing. Good morning.
Violet's following me.
Violet's following you. What are you? Oh, nah. Bacon.
Bacon.
Bacon. Spoiled dog. That's what I'm up to. So I don't know how much farther I'll get now that everybody else is awake. We got other stuff to try to worry about, but this was a project I could work on while everybody was sleeping. So alright, take care. We'll talk to you later.